And the only other disclaimer I would add is that, and somebody did speak with us, sort of shared a message with us last night. The only other disclaimer I would put is that the smaller the number of students, the greater impact each student has on the school's results. So, for instance, I'll give you one example. At Cedar Bridge, Cedar Bridge, 12 students took history. At Berkeley, 25 did. 74 at Cedar Bridge took math. 144 took math at Berkeley. So just bear that in mind for as much as it matters.
Right.
I don't think it's statistically significant. So I don't know that it would, within the arena that we're talking about, Bermudian public schools, I don't know how much of an impact that has on the overall result. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a social scientist.
One other question. We did the primary school as far as the rankings.
Well, we're going back to that. I was just giving you an indication.
No, but it's another question I want to add on to that. How about high schools?
Yeah, I got those here.
Okay.
We only have two.
That's going to be interesting.
Oh, we only have two. So it's not that deep.
Right.
To be honest.
And middle schools?
We only have three. So it's all right here. I have it all here.
All right.
So I just wanted to say that it's possible that the amount of students taking the test impacts the overall result for that school.
Yes.
Okay. Me personally, I don't really care about that because I'm not at that level, but I'm just saying it because somebody might believe that that's an element of fairness that should be injected to this discussion.
Right.
So I'll tell you what the discussion is going to be. We're going to go through these rankings. Well, I suppose rankings, but the points again.
Right.
And we'll do that for primary, middle, and senior school. I then want to read the statements from the teachers union and the ministry about these results and
yes,
where we are. And I then a few other things that I want to do in that regard. I think we're going to have enough time to do it all, I hope. And then due to what you were saying, fortunately, the co-pilot gave the pilot a break, and he said, I can have the green paper on CARICOM ready for Monday. You noticed he allowed that. Okay, he allowed that. Yep, we switch. Sometimes it's the co-pilot on the Corey Butterfield show. Other times, I'm merely the navigator on the Willie Ferguson show. I had a cousin send me a message. You two have a good relationship. I'm like, you don't know what this boy does to me. Wait till we got a camera in here and they see what you do to me. But they all believe you out there. Corey, you need to ease off Billy.
Yes, you do need to ease me up. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So primary schools, right? What it was, this was a snapshot for English, math, and science in the primary schools, in public schools. So the private schools aren't listed here. It's the public school system primary schools. Okay. A few interesting things. So there was an international average for English, one for math, one for science. If you combine those three numbers, you get the international average for those three. That number was 95. Okay, so 95 would be the international average for English, math, and science combined.
Okay.
Our number one school in primary level was St. David's, and topped. Okay, and they topped. In fact, Harrington Sound was quite close. So St. David's had 71 points, and Harrington Sound had 69 points.
Okay.
So only 2 points difference between the first and second school.
Yes.
I think that might indicate that there are lessons to be learned from those schools.
Yes.
And so 71, the highest we had, is below.
But below my God, yes, international level.
Okay.
Wow.
Here's the thing. So our top school was St. David's at 71. Harrington Sound was next with 69. Only two.
Right.
The next bunch go from 59 to 49. Well, in fact, you can go 48, 47. So again, there's 59, 2 at 58, 55, 52, and 50. So between 50, say, and 71, we have 8 schools.
Wow.
Okay. So in order, from the highest, St. David's has 71. Barrington Song, 69. Port Royal, 59. Dalton Tucker, 58. Whoop, whoop, Southampton. Remember? I was saying that so you live in Southampton, the performance of the schools is quite close.
Yes.
Whereas in most of the other parishes, the performance between the schools is quite broad.
Yes.
Okay. After Dalton Tucker in Southampton, Gilbert Institute, which was the same score as Dalton Tucker, 58. Francis Patton was next at 55. West Pembroke, 52. West End Primary, 50. Northlands, 49. St. George's Prep, 48. Prospect, 47. Purvis, 43. Paget Primary, 40. Victor Scott, 35. Somerset Primary, 34. Elliott, 32. And East End, 28.
My God.
So our schools went from 71 to 28. And the average was 95.
But all of them were under the international level.
Mm-hmm. Our middle schools, the international average for English was 34. Whitney scored 39.
Okay.
Above the international average.
Okay.
Sands, 21, and Delwood, 28. In math, Whitney, the average was 31. Whitney got 17, Sands got 18, Delwood 13. So Sands had the highest in math, Whitney had the highest in English, and Whitney also had the highest in science. So Whitney had the highest scores in English and science, Sands had the highest in math. In science, the average was 31, Whitney got 26, Sands 16, Delwood 12. So the international average total for middle schools was 95. Whitney got 82, Sands 55, and Delwood 53. So the difference between Sands and Delwood, 2 points.
Yeah.
But between Whitney and Sands and Delwood, 30 points.
That's a lot.
Okay, so in middle school, Whitney stands out quite a bit. And if you think, for lack of a better phrase, Whitney is east, Delwood is central, Sands is west. Yep.
Yep.
So, the international average was 95 in the primary schools, and our highest school got a 71. In the middle school, the highest was 90. The average was 95, and the highest we got was 82, which is closer than the primary school.
Yeah.
Which, in some ways, anecdotally, is different from what we've sort of thought. We all thought, like, put your child in public school for primary, and then you do whatever after that. I think that was more about nurturing and whatever else,
right.
But also the level of instruction. And so then we come to the senior schools. Mate, I don't know if I should read this.
Yeah, you need to. No, really.
All right. So we do the schools separately. In the report, they were combined and it's a little challenging to read. So I had to separate them to...
Right.
There is less easy to make comparisons because, for instance, in Cedarbridge, they take geography, and in Berkeley, they take global perspectives. And then that's aside from the amount of students that I was telling you about.
Yes.
So comparing Berkeley and Cedarbridge is a bit more challenging than the primary and middle schools. I think the curriculum is standard throughout.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I honestly don't know what information to so we have the number of students, and the way that it worked for the senior schools, the highest grade you can get, say, is an A star.
Okay.
Okay? And the lowest you can get is a U, which is essentially incomplete. I'll get the exact term. Hold on. I think I have the exact term here. So A star is representing the highest achievement, and G, the minimum passing grade, indicating basic understanding. A grade of U denotes that the required standard was not met. Okay, so the results, we have A to C, which would be your upper,
Right.
D to G, remember G is basic understanding.
Right.
And then U.
Okay.
Did not meet the standard.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure how to break this down for you. I have it by course and I have it by school. So I can just do I'll tell you what, I'm going to try this. We did English, Math, and Science for primary and middle.
Yes.
I'll do English, Math, and Science for Cedar Bridge, English, Math, and Science for Berkeley.
That's fair.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So English at Cedar Bridge, there were 65 students who took English. Mm-hmm. 19 received a grade between A star and C. And 44 received between D and G grades, and 2 did not meet the standard. So, with the first English at that level, the international standard was an 84% rate between A star and C. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all the international averages are those who are in the, if you will, the upper, right? Okay. A star to C. Mm-hmm. So for English, the international average for students getting between A star and C was 84. So 84% of students get that grade. At Cedar Bridge, 29% got that. Mathematics, Cedar Bridge, 74 students took math. Between the A star and C were 6 students. Between D and G, 42. And did not meet the standard, 26.
Wow.
So in math, the international average for the percentage of students who make between A star and C is 71%. At Cedar Bridge, 8% of students achieve that between 8 star and C. And science. Combined science, 22 students took the course, and 15 got between a D and a G, and 7 did not meet the standard. No student at Cedar Bridge got between an A star and a C for combined science, and the international average was 69%. So 69% of students get between an A star and C in combined science, and no Cedar Bridge students got that grade. I could do this for biology and chemistry because they do separate that out. For biology, there were 48 students. Only 3 got between an A star and C. 31 got between D and G, and 14 did not meet the required standard. Therefore, the international average for biology of A star to C was 75%. 6% of Cedar Bridge students achieved that grade. In chemistry, the international average was 83%, got between A star and C in chemistry. We only had 2 students take it at Cedar Bridge. 1 got between a D and a G, and 1 did not meet the standard. So that's English, Math, and Science. At Berkeley, English, there were 131 students who took English. The international average for those who get between an A star and C was 84%. So 84% of the students get between A star and C. At Berkeley, 29% achieved that. And the remainder, 53, got between a D and a G. For mathematics, 144 students took mathematics. The international average for getting between an A star and C is 71%. At Berkeley, 34% received between A star and C in mathematics. The actual numbers are, there were 144 in total, 49 got between A star and C, 84 between a D and G, and 11 did not meet the standard. In science, 27 students took science. The international average was 69%. At Berkeley, 11% reached that grade. So out of the 27 students that took combined science, 3 got between an A star and C, 20 got between D and G, and 4 did not meet the standard. With biology, 58 students took it. The international average was 75% of students who took it got between an A star and C. At Berkeley, 8 or 14% got between an A star and C, while 45 got between a D and a G.
This is sobering, but go on.
I mean, I could go on. I'm not sure, but physics at Berkeley, there were 18 students. 5 got between an A star and C, 11 a D and G, and 2 did not meet the standard. History, 25 students took it. 10 got between the A star and C, 14 D and G, 1 didn't meet the standard. I mean, I could talk about this marine science, information, communication, history, but remember, this is a snapshot, right?
Yes.
And so, for me, the fact that we didn't reach any standard anywhere, and all of the numbers are fairly bad.
Yeah.
You know? So if you ask me to rank, like my child was going to see the British or Berkeley, I can't do it because of the way the numbers were. I don't know. But I think the fact that there isn't an obvious difference, at least to me, says a lot about a school that was open in 97 and a school that's over 100.
And not only that, the so-called facilities. Wow.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because what I have brought with me was the comments. Okay, so we have the comments from the various bodies and the Royal Gazette about these marks, I should say, and results. But let me just say something. This will come up later on. Not like later on, but we're going to mention this. But I just want to say now, there were times when you would hear education is the great leveler.
Yeah.
Okay. You would hear, right, those things about just get a good education, you'll get a good job, you have a good quality of life.
Yes.
Okay. What I just described, that is something called a moral purpose, you know. It's not just the practicality of studying, right? It is the value of education, the value even of being wise. Okay. One day, get enough of education, you can get your own talk show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just make sure they write how to use the buttons in crayon. I tell you, I'm not going to get this. I thought about it a lot last night, you know.
Right.
I honestly thought I had that thing lined up perfectly yesterday, and I don't know why it keeps happening. But having these remarks, I thought the best thing to do, really, was for me to read verbatim. You know why?
Why is that?
Because you've heard the results, right?
Yep.
So, anything that I read that is a comment, right?
Yeah.
Is, yep, where they are. So, I'm going to read what came. I'll read in order.
Okay.
This first statement is on gov.bm website. All right, so this is the government statement that was released when these results were released. Should I read?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, please.
You see how much is here, right?
Listen, this.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to upset you. All right. So, folks, this is what was written along with those results. I should take a sip of water. Okay. Let me tell you, the reason, before I read this, right, I think I lost track of it. I remember now some that started to say, I think I lost track. When we're talking about the show and how there's current events and these things that are published, I didn't finish the statement. So driving in, I felt like we're mortar. Got me? Yeah. There are blocks.
Yes.
And we're just mortar.
Okay.
Right? And I felt that there might be a block that's the government and there's a block that's the opposition. We're the people in between. We do our little research just as a Bermudian, or just because we don't have any political office, can't actually vote for us.
Right.
Maybe we should start a GoFundMe page. We can't give us any money. So there's no benefit, tangible, real benefit for us creating enemies. For us saying the things that we say unapologetically.
Wow. Be careful for our country and our people.
Yes, that's the benefit to us. That we feel we have an intrinsic... It's selfish, right? Because we feel good and we share the information, so it's kind of selfish, right? We do the things that make us feel good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... we're mortar. So I realized today with reading those results, right? I'm not the BUT. I'm not the Ministry of Education.
Right.
Not the Department of Education. I'm not the former chair of the National PTA. And I'm not the current anything.
Right.
I go to Workbook Day and I do what I can in schools. This is the statement that accompanied those results. It was released the 4th of March. So last week, Tuesday. The Department of Education has released the 2025 Cambridge International Education Checkpoint and IGCSE results for the Bermuda public school system. These assessments provide important insight into student performance as the ministry continues to work to strengthen teaching. I'm going to read I'm verbatim, right?
Okay.
As the ministry continues its work to strengthen teaching and learning across the system. Checkpoint assessments serve as diagnostic tools that help identify specific learning gaps, while IGCSEs are internationally recognized qualification examinations. Only the checkpoint assessments are designed for diagnostic purposes. The BPSS, Bermuda Public School System, serves every child regardless of learning needs or starting point. It is a comprehensive, not a selective system. As a result, system performance reflects the full range of student outcomes across Bermuda's public schools. The system-wide summary report for the 2025 Checkpoint Diagnostic Assessments and the IGCSE qualification results is available at www.moed.bm under the Public Documents and Reports tab. The ministry does not publish individual school-level CIE and IGCSE results in isolation because cohort sizes in Bermuda are small, and publication of raw results without appropriate statistical context can lead to misleading comparisons and unintended identification of individual students. As previously mentioned, checkpoint assessments are diagnostic in nature and are not designed for school ranking or league table publication. At this time, there are no plans to publish annual league table style comparisons of individual schools. However, the ministry continues to review its reporting framework to ensure that it balances transparency, student privacy, and responsible interpretation of data. System-wide data and A-star to C attainment data are published to ensure public accountability. Within the Cambridge framework, grades A-star through G are all internationally recognized passing grades, with a G confirming that a student has met the threshold for a certified qualification. The department remains committed to transparent reporting by publishing both the percentage of students who meet the A-star to G passing thresholds and the percentage who meet competitive international benchmarks, A-star to C. While the checkpoint and IGCSE, A-star to C, results are available on the ministry's website, the current budget book reports performance measures aligned to the full range of internationally recognized passing grades, A-star to G. Let me know when you get bored, Willie. I'm going here. I'm not even halfway yet.
Go ahead.
The ministry does not consider the budget book performance measures to be disingenuous. They reflect internationally recognized passing thresholds. However, the ministry acknowledges that international competitiveness is more commonly benchmarked at A* to C, and for that reason, A to C performance data is also publicly available. Both measures provide important but different insights into system performance. While overall A* to G pass rates exceed 90%, A* to C attainment rates demonstrate that there remains work to be done to align more closely with international averages. The ministry recognizes this gap and is addressing it directly through instructional reform and targeted academic supports. I'm losing you.
Yeah.
I'm still
no, it's just recurrent thought in my mind, right? We've got some serious work to do. Not only that, now, I'm going to say this.
Shall I continue reading the statement?
No.
I can't read anymore?
No, don't read no more.
I just got halfway. All right, let me at least read 2 more paragraphs.
Okay.
I think the second paragraph is very important.
Okay.
The results indicate that when compared to international averages, there is room for improvement.
Yeah.
And the continued need to strengthen literacy and numeracy, enhance instructional quality, and stabilize school operations, areas that remain central to the ministry's ongoing education transformation efforts. This is the last paragraph I'm going to read.
Mm-hmm.
It should be noted that Bermuda's performance relative to international averages is influenced by several factors. So, really, I'm about to tell you why we didn't do well.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to...
I apologize. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let me start over that paragraph. It should be noted that Bermuda's performance relative to international averages is influenced by several factors, including the non-selective nature of the public school system. Non-selective nature means everybody, right?
Yes.
It's not like a private school where you can reject.
Yes.
Small cohort sizes, which can create statistical volatility. So if you only have 2 students, 1 pass, 1 fails.
Yes. The average. Mm-hmm.
Ready for the next one?
Go ahead.
And the academic disruption experienced globally during and following the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, the system is emerging from a prolonged period of leadership turnover and structural reform, which has impacted the consistency of instructional delivery. I would go on, but you said stop. The part for me in that last paragraph, the non-selective nature, I'm about to deal with that in a moment. The COVID, hey, Willie, can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
Ready?
Right.
COVID hit the whole planet. So the schools were comparing Bermuda to also had COVID issues. Don't tell me.
You should say that.
No, you must be crazy. I ain't said get me in trouble.
No, seriously.
No, wait. COVID
listen.
only hit Bermuda, Papa.
Listen, we need to be... Let me tell you something. We need to hear this.
But I just... Okay?
Go ahead.
COVID hit Bermuda.
I've got you.
That's it.
No, go right into it. Come on. Now.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like, you know, I know I have some friends that are going to take this personally, right?
Right.
But the other day, I was watching a clip of Arsenal Football Club fans.
Right.
And they interviewed this fella and said, you know, what do you think caused us to lose tonight?
Right.
And the fella said, you know, I checked my phone and there was wind like you can't imagine. And the guy's like, but it was windy for both teams.
Right.
I'm just saying. That was a lot of words, and I didn't even finish, right? The statement, you wouldn't let me. But it goes on 2 sides of a letter size page. And that's at size 11 font.
Let me explain something. The reason why I didn't want, because I started, my school day is over. Then over. But I was kind of like optimistic at first. And then as you read on and on and on and on, I just started to sink in my chair.
I noticed.
And That's not a good feeling.
No.
I mean, I don't have no children in the public school system. But I feel for those who have, because it's an opportunity through education that a lot of people, and I'm talking about grassroots, that is their way back to higher, that is their way to higher standards, a better job, a profession. You understand?
Really, it's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
So let me give you a different example. Someone claimed that America is a meritocracy. Okay? So you get where you're going by merit.
Right.
Okay, and someone said, the English guy was debating this guy, and he said, what makes you think a meritocracy is a good thing? Right? And that hit me in the forehead.
Wow.
Right? Because you think getting something on merit is the most fair, the best way, right? And the guy said, merit itself holds people back, because the student who does the best might have the parents who can afford the tutor.
Yeah.
The student with the greatest extracurricular activity is the parent who can afford the football pads, the cricket bat, the ping pong paddle, right? And so all of these things that is say that you are claiming as merit are actually privilege.
Yes.
The actual education, really, that is the great leveler. Because if I was talking to a teacher last night.
Yes.
Who talked about soft things that former teachers used to do.
Okay.
And I'm trying to, how can I get away with this? This teacher told me about something that another teacher does for students at this school.
Okay.
Just does out of their own pocket, just does it, and the students utilize this benefit.
Okay.
That's free. Because the utilization was seemingly increasing, the teacher asked the school if they could supplement or subsidize this effort, because it's clearly something that the students, and my understanding is the school said no.
Wow.
Now, I don't understand how a school would say, and I'm going to solve this. I have some other thing I think I'm going to do to help this teacher. In fact, I may go to the parish council and ask that parish council to pick up that project. Right. And because they can afford it, and it's in their parish. So I think that benefit is going to remain if I twist arms, if I break necks, if I speak to the people of that parish council. So there was a lot of words.
Yes.
When I'm sorry, we're going to do better would have been about 10. But so that was the department, and that was on the government's website. Okay, so that wasn't from the Gazette, that wasn't from Bermuda, that was the actual statement on the site. I then went and got the statement from the BUT, the Bermuda Union of Teachers.
Okay.
Because if the ministry is, no blame there, no, we can't identify something there.
Right.
And if I could, remember, COVID hit everywhere.
Yes.
Right? So all the international averages would be up or down, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So here we go. This is the BUT comment on examination grades. A spokesperson for the Bermuda Union of Teachers said the union remains deeply committed to the success and well-being of Bermuda students and educators, and that the recently published 2025 Cambridge and IGCSE results, in quotes, raise concerns that deserve thoughtful attention from the entire community. So we're doing our part. We are part of the entire community.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. They said, while examination outcomes provide one indicator of student performance, they must be understood within the broader context. Many students experience significant disruptions to foundational learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly in literacy and numeracy during key developmental years. The effect of those disruptions can still be seen in student outcomes today and must be taken into account when interpreting system-wide results. Teachers across Bermuda continue to work diligently under challenging and evolving conditions, including staffing shortages, shifting curriculum expectations, and increased student needs. Their commitment to supporting students remains strong, and their efforts should be recognized as part of any conversation about outcomes. The BUT believes that transparency in education is important. Publishing system-wide results can contribute to informed public discussion when the data is presented with appropriate context and used constructively to support improvement rather than assign blame. I'm just going to say something here. Why not assign blame? What's the benefit? Why is not assigning blame the greater good? Yeah, when your mama comes home,
yes,
she wants to know if it's three of you who broke the lamp. Yes, the lamp still got to be replaced. Somebody still got to do it, but you want to know
who's responsible.
There's another word I like: accountable.
Yes,
and accountability. We encourage continued collaboration between the Department of Education, school leaders, teachers, parents, and the wider community. Well, you're getting that from us today. We are the wider community.
Yes.
So that the information released helps guide meaningful solutions. If the Ministry of Education is to address the challenges highlighted by these results, sustained investment in supports for students and educators will be critical. This includes recruiting and retaining certified and qualified teachers, expanding academic intervention supports, providing additional paraprofessional assistance, ensuring access to adequate classroom resources, and creating opportunities for instruction where students need more targeted help. The BUT stands ready to work collaboratively with all stakeholders to strengthen the supports available across the system and to ensure that every student in Bermuda has the opportunity to achieve their fullest potential.
I need to say something because it's burning me up.
Go along, Bridget.
Okay. Last year, I went to a primary school's graduation. Let me tell you, out of 10 awards, I watched this young girl pick up 7 of them.
Mercy me.
You heard what I'm telling you? 7 of the awards she took home, and she got the highest of the most recognized, whatever they call that award, right? They give it a name. But I sat there and I looked. It wasn't her, you know. I looked at the rest of the students' faces as this girl, and the such and such girls too. And I looked at their faces, and they looked glum. Like, wow. You know something?
Glum, like they thought it should have been them. Glum, her again. Glum, like what? What do you mean?
It almost looked as if, well, I'll tell you about the audience. The audience was like, this must be favoritism. Right?
Are you sure?
No, seriously, because she had other parents there and whatever, and, you know, they were like for their children to get an award.
Isn't this performance, like grades?
But it was performance, and it was great. But apparently this girl was charismatic. I mean, she was across the board wiping out. Even the students liked her. So at the end of the day, it's because of her personality. But I would say I watched her parents.
That's where I was getting to. You can talk about everything else.
Yes. But I wanted to connect it. I looked at her parents, and her parents ensured that she felt supported. Because even after the ceremony, they were on the side taking pictures together. Oh, I want a picture with you. That was the uncle and the aunt, and then it was the grandmother and the the support she got made I bet you it made the biggest difference in that girl's education.
It's funny you say that. I thought about a party request. And like I said, I'm not a professional. I keep saying this, right? I don't have any titles. But I wondered at the primary and middle level, to what extent do the results reflect active parent-teacher associations? I wonder.
Okay.
So I know in Dalton, Tucker, and Port Royal, because I know people who are involved in those PTAs, and I receive updates from Dalton, Tucker anyway. So I know those PTAs, and I just wonder if there's any correlation between active PTAs and the school performance. Not even, and I'm just saying that because St. David's was such an outlier to a certain extent, right? It topped 2 of the 3 courses.
Right.
And we know that St. David's is a community. Right? Soon to be parish, I got you.
Right.
where you're going to, you know folks, you will bump into folks, it's going to happen. And so I wonder if that creates an accountability, got me? That is different, and or whether the identity of being a St. David's Islander in and of itself creates an innate desire to be more because you think and are told the rest of the country thinks of you a certain way.
Okay.
Right? And so I don't know, but I think it might be a character. So I did look up the 2016 results, the 2018 results. The government didn't publish them in 2021 because of COVID.
Right.
But 2025, it's still COVID.
Yes.
So I looked at those past results to see whether we're going up, going down, static.
Right.
And the Cambridge changed the way that they record. So a few years ago, it was 20, 30, 40, 50.
Yes.
Now it's A star to C, D to G,
Gotcha.
and U. So it was a little difficult to make the comparison, so I didn't try. I pulled myself out of a rabbit hole. I was way deep. Yeah, I'm on a Cambridge website itself.
Oh, wow.
Right? Looking at all this stuff. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, mate. Remember, it's still show. This is just one part of just trying.
Yes.
I pulled myself out, really. The first time that's happened. Normally, I get lost.
Oh, we're saved. No, you know something, though?
We're saved. I can't believe that part.
You would have been deep. I knew you would have been deep. I had a question before you said that. How often do they do these assessments?
As far as I could tell, they were annually.
So if you do them annually, you would see a trend. Yes?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And if you see a trend, because education is always about improvement.
Yes.
So if you see a trend, what you do, you put your foot on its neck and you say, no, this is going on long enough. A year is a long time when it comes to a child's education.
Absolutely right. This stuff, trust me, the only reason why we can do this show, I think, was because yesterday we had a different show and I've had some more time to put in between when I read this stuff and now talking to our listeners about this stuff.
Yes.
Because when I was first reading it, mate, trust me, my grandpa wouldn't have been proud of me with the way I was talking in my house.
Right.
I was livid.
I've been reading on some of this stuff. From here on in, I'm going to get really deep into this education stuff, because what you keep on hearing is this can easily become a matter of blame. Like, for instance, the ministry will blame the teachers, and the teachers will blame the ministry, and meanwhile, the children suffer.
That's what I was just getting at.
Oh, sorry.
So that's the point that I'm just saying, that we've heard from the ministry, we've heard from the BUT.
Yes.
I read them. Well, you stopped me from reading, but pretty much what I read. What do you say was the cause of those results, Billy? With what you've just heard?
Yes.
No, I'm asking you. What do you think?
I would say that there was
COVID, right?
Yeah.
No, seriously, COVID.
Yes.
They talked about a high turnover. The ministry statement dared to talk about a high turnover.
Yes.
Mate, Diella Rabin was the education minister for, 7.5 years?
8 years, yeah.
The commissioner of education was there before he was the minister. What is the turnover of leadership that I may be blind to, but I'm just saying, at those top roles, there was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So let me read you something else that might make you think that perhaps this is a bit different. The problem is not quite what we thought.
Okay.
And I'm telling you why this stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a letter, I think it was a letter to the editor.
Right.
Which I've brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And the letter to the editor references a statement made by a school head.
Mm.
So I went and got that as well, because I couldn't quite understand. I knew I was missing something with what I had read. So what was a very standard, honestly, mate, this head used maybe
Right.
20 words. Maybe.
Okay.
The response, letter to the editor, is probably 400.
Oh, wow.
300. 350. Okay, so we're talking about being Bermudian.
Yes.
That's the name of the show.
Yes.
So we've just read some very horrific, terrible results in our public system. We've read how the ministry is on the case.
Yeah.
And the BUT is right there, shoulder to shoulder with them on the case. Right?
Yeah.
You don't sound convinced.
No, because my mind is going fast forward past what you're going to say. Trust me.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to read you a headline and an article from the Royal Gazette from last December.
Okay.
The headline, Work Academy pupils set world, regional IGCSE standards.
Wow.
4 Work Academy pupils have achieved a notable academic coup by earning in some of the highest IGCSE scores seen across international regions this year, with one enjoying the distinction of becoming one of the most successful in the world. Jude Espley-Olt achieved the world's highest mark in mathematics during the summer 2025 IGCSE examination series. Mr. Espley-Olt was joined by his peers in setting the high standard for national and international achievements. Olivia Smith reached top marks in Bermuda in her Spanish IGCSE. Sarah Haziza received the highest marks in the Americas in French IGCSE, and Sophie Greenway achieved in the highest grade in global citizenship in the Americas. David Horan, the head of school at Work Academy, said, end quote, these exceptional results reflect not only academic excellence, but the strength of our whole school approach. He added, our students are supported through strong teaching, pastoral care, well-being programs, and co-curricular opportunities that allow them to thrive both inside and outside the classroom. That's it.
Wow.
Okay? Well, that little remark caused a letter to the editor.
Okay.
It's a bit long, but I'm reading it. You'll understand why I read it.
Okay.
That article I just read to you was from last December. This letter to the editor, written in response to that article, was published on Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Okay. Dear sir, I would appreciate it if you would allow me the opportunity to comment on an article which appeared on the front page of your December 19th, 2025 edition. The article concerned Work Academy's IGCSE results. In the article, Mr. Horan, the headmaster, is quoted as saying, in quotes, these exceptional results reflect not only academic excellence, but the strength of our whole school approach. In the context in which it is made, Mr. Horan's statement can reasonably be considered nonsense. You with me?
I'm got you.
The achievements of 4 pupils are simply not indicative of Warwick's, in quotes, academic excellence or vindication of its, in quotes, whole school approach. Highly capable children tend, within reason, to do well whatever school they attend. Indeed, regarding such pupils, it is very much the case that Warwick is lucky that they chose to be educated there and not the other way around. To properly assess Mr. Horan's claims, it is necessary to review the IGCSE results of the entire year's group and not just those of the 4 highlighted pupils. Doing so undermines both Mr. Horan's position regarding academic excellence and, quite likely, that regarding the effectiveness of Warwick's whole school approach. On September the 3rd, 2025, Mr. Horan emailed parents regarding exam results. The final sentence of his paragraph on IGCSE results reads as follows, in quotes, our students also excelled at the top grades with 45% A star and A and 987 grades achieved. So also significantly above the UK's 23%. So let me just say, Work Academy's top 45% of students achieved the top grades, and the UK average was 23%. That's so Haran is comparing Work Academy's 45 with the UK average of 23. The writer continues. Mr. Haran neglected to make it clear to parents that the 23% represented the UK average. When fairer, direct comparisons are made with other privileged, fee-paying schools, or even with many state schools, Warwick's 45% is nothing to be proud of. Conservatively, Warwick's 45% would be unlikely to get it anywhere near the top 200 schools in the UK.
Oh, wow.
One school in particular demonstrates how unimpressive the 45% achieved by Warwick is. Let me just pause here one moment. Are you with me? Do you know what's happening here?
Yes.
Because I want to make sure our listeners are with me, because I know I've been talking a lot.
Right.
So, in essence, the letter writer is saying the head of Warwick Academy an article highlighted 4 students that one got the highest in the Americas, one got the highest in the world, the other highest in Bermuda.
Yes.
And the head of the school said, this vindicates our whole school approach.
Yes.
And essentially our academic excellence.
Okay.
This writer is saying you can claim your school has academic, he will call it nonsense. And he's saying the 45% having that compared with the entirety of the United Kingdom average isn't a fair comparison.
Okay.
So he said, and if you compare Warwick with other privileged fee-paying schools, then that's like the fair comparison. And he's saying, and if you did that, you will see Warwick's not got much to write home about. That's the point he's making. And I used so many words that I wasn't sure we're on track. So we're on track. You were with me?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
All right. One school in particular demonstrates how unimpressive the 45% achieved by Warwick is. The Michaela Community School was founded in 2014 by headmistress Miss Catherine Birbal Singh. It is a non-selective state school with a deprived inner city catchment area in Wembley, London. So a non-selective state school is like our primary and middle schools in the public school system. Non-selective, you have a right to attend merely because you're of the UK or you live in Southampton or whatever it is. Non-select, and a state school, so the government provides it and it meets government standards, as government funding, right? A state school. And that school is located within a deprived inner city area of Wembley, London. Got me?
Yes.
Ready for this?
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, 80% of the grades achieved by pupils at Michaela were 987. If Mr. Haran considers an achievement of 45% excelling, what does he consider one of 80%?
Whoa.
Warwick is 22 points above the UK average, Michaela 57 points above, or more than 2.5 times Warwick's achievement. The gap between Warwick and the UK average is 22 points. The gap between Michaela and Warwick is 35 points. Michaela is over 1.5 times further from Warwick than Warwick is from the UK average. Mr. Haran used the word significant to describe Warwick's 22-point achievement over the UK average. How would he describe Michaela's 35-point achievement over Warwick? Is there a way in which the 45% reflects well on Warwick? When the standard of IGCSE results for the entire year group is considered, it is not unreasonable to conclude that Warwick Academy's preparation of its pupils for the IGCE exams is inadequate. It is no less unreasonable to hypothesize that the school's, in quotes, whole school approach may, in some way, be contributing to academic underachievement. Rather than making unfair comparisons, Mr. Horan would be better advised to investigate and rectify the deficiencies that exist in IGCSE preparation at the school. Of course, Mr. Horan may believe that children at Warwick are just less capable than those at Michaela.
Oh, wow.
The reason I read that is because I thought, right, all of the politics of being a public school was why the ministry writes in ways that are 3 billion words. And if a reporter was reading and you're looking for, here are the results, here's why we had these results, and this is what we're doing to address.
Yes.
There's a lot of other words in there. The fact that this person called out what they did here, I want to use it for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Number one, this writer has a standard.
Yes.
That they believed in to a level that they wrote it publicly. And they signed their name.
Yes.
Okay, so their name is here. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Down a rump.
That says a lot.
I was on the Corey Butterfield show, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So the name is there.
Right.
The fact that they found this school in a deprived area of London, which
right,
we don't have any in Bermuda close to that inner city deprived Wembley.
Yes.
Okay. And yet they were well above the UK average. Leave it, just talk about UK for one moment.
Yes.
Okay. An inner city school in London was higher than, and the UK, that's Scotland, Ireland, Wales.
Yes,
right?
It's true.
Higher. The UK average. I don't know whether the UK average is higher or lower than the international average. But Horan compared Warwick to the UK average.
Yes.
I understand why that might be the case. I have a guess. I haven't talked to Horan, so I don't know. But the guess would be, if the private schools of this country are losing students to boarding schools in England, then they would be saying, hey, what better than the average boarding school you're going to find out there, except, as this writer said, why are you comparing it to state schools? It's fee paying. You pay at Warwick Academy.
Yes.
You will be paying overseas at a boarding school. So I could see, if I was the head of Warwick Academy and I'm trying to stop people from sending their children to England, I say, hey, we're right there. In fact, we're above the UK average.
Yes.
Stay home. Whereas the writer is saying, really?
Yeah.
You're comparing yourself to the UK average, one school to the UK average, but all right. And then here's the third point I want to make. This letter writer believes that by being 22 points above the UK average, you haven't done anything. Right? He's said maybe the children at Warwick are less capable than those at Michaela. It's clear that the preparation of its pupils for the exams is inadequate.
Yeah.
The point I'm making here, this was 22 points over the UK average. The public school, nobody met the international average. Have you seen a letter from a parent? Have you seen a letter from a teacher saying, I'm sorry, we're going to do better?
No.
But I read the BUT in the ministry. So when some of the softer politicians in this country listen to this show and wish I didn't say it like that, this man has standards. He's called out the head of the school.
Yes.
He's called out what is it? He has a standard. I have a standard. You all aren't meeting it. Definitely not on jobs and immigration. Cambridge is saying you're not meeting it in education.
Yes.
CARICOM shows you're not making it in tourism because we're still trying to get back to 2019 numbers when CARICOM broke records in tourism 22, 23, and 24. But I shouldn't call out names, or I should just take it easy while my country, both in demographics, in cost of living, in emigration, in education. I'm old enough to know when the public education system had us going to Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, Western, right? Graduating from a local high school.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure our children are still going to top universities, but are they prepared when they get there?
Yeah.
Right? Because just look at it. This was over the UK average, and this letter writer is like, nope, nope, that's not good. That's not good enough. The frightening part is that you're going to think I have a crystal ball.
Okay.
Can I read something to you, really?
Sure.
All right. The Ministry of Education, that's who we're talking about, has lost the trust and confidence of schools and the public. It is a poorly led and mismanaged organization lacking in strategic vision and the skills to realize it. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Lacking in strategic vision and the skills to realize that they're lacking in those skills. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. Let me read that again. The ministry has lost the trust and confidence of schools and the public.
Yeah.
It is a poorly led and mismanaged organization lacking in strategic vision and the skills to realize it. The ministry exercises much control but little leadership. It is secretive and it operates through direction. Schools are overly regimented by the Ministry of Education, on which they are dependent for information, guidance, and support. The next paragraph. We have looked in vain for any evidence of an overall vision for education depicted through clear aims and operationalized through a strategic plan, which shows the priorities to be addressed, goals or targets to be achieved, and the approach to be taken. That was paragraph 107. I'm going to jump to paragraph 117. Currently, the senior leadership of the ministry is dysfunctional. There is no discernible strategic leadership. The ministry does not have a strategic plan for its work over, say, the next 3 years. It is increasingly distanced from schools, typically not responding to communications that are of considerable importance to this group of clients. It seeks to implement cabinet or ministerial initiatives, not through brokerage, but either by diktat or stealth. It has a cavalier approach to consultation, resulting in tense relations with unions. Meetings of standing consultative committees are not called, and internal and external communications are poor. Paragraph 18. The culture at senior levels is properly focused on discharging cabinet and ministerial decisions, but this is not balanced by a sense of providing service to the wider range of clientele, notably schools, on behalf of the government. There is no sense of balance. Empathy and common sense appear to be in short supply at the senior levels. A major problem with this culture is that it suppresses initiative and constructive criticism alike. Some staff in the ministry and in schools are afraid to speak up or express independent views. There are perceptions that one's career is in jeopardy if one does not share the prevailing view. The ministry exercises much control but little leadership, and it makes requirements of schools that consume considerable time for little reward. An example is the approach to budgeting, where each school is required each year to start from scratch, a zero-based budget approach in setting out its bid. This seems unnecessarily bureaucratic when most schools receive historical costs plus an inflation increase most years. I'm now going to jump to 2 recommendations. Although these findings present a fairly bleak picture of the school system in Bermuda, there is one very strong redeeming feature. It is clear that there is a strong potential for improvement amongst the great majority of teachers and principals. Indeed, this potential also seems to be linked with a strong desire to improve, a desire that has been inhibited by the paternalistic culture that has been engendered by the Ministry of Education. For these reasons, the team believes that the most appropriate reform model for the Bermudian education system is one that is based on re-professionalization rather than restructuring or some market solutions such as vouchers. Both restructuring and market solutions like vouchers, they have their attractions. But there is no doubt, for example, that the move to middle schools was a mistake. But the team believes that a structural response would only cause more confusion and instability and leave the real issue, the low quality of teaching and learning, untouched. I'm going to read that sentence again. There is no doubt, for example, that the move to middle schools was a mistake. But the team believes that a structural response would only cause more confusion and instability and leave the real issue, the low quality of teaching and learning, untouched.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to highlight one other thing, and again to the details of the recommendation. Recommendation number 1, dramatically improve the quality of teaching. Recommendation 2, move quickly to improve the quality of leadership by principals. 3, radically reform the Ministry of Education. Under recommendation 1, dramatically improve the quality of teaching. Number 1, internal audit of the quality and effectiveness of teaching across the school with external corroboration or validation. Systematic monitoring of the progress of every pupil, reviewed regularly. Annual objective setting and performance review of everyone in the system. And the last one, identification and appointment of excellent or advanced skills teachers, giving them an outreach developmental function. What I've been reading from, Willie, was published in May 2007, locally known as the Hopkins Report.
Got you.
The thing that stood out for me, big time, was Hopkins warned in 2007 that structural reform will cause confusion and instability. The whole basis of reform from those Australians was structural.
Yes.
All of it. Right? Signature schools, close this school, open that school, this, right?
Yes.
All of that was about the system, the structure. When Hopkins said, if you focus on that, well,
yeah,
what did I read at the beginning of this show as the performance of our schools?
yeah, that's what you got.
What is the state of that reform? Blowing up, right?
Yeah.
Grenade blown. So, oops.
Yeah.
We've got an 8-year, $16 million. Oops.
The other thing is, year after year in the budget, we get increase in education. We keep throwing money at it, but we're not making any changes, no real changes. And I believe that the changes should come from the top. The structure of it, perhaps. But if we keep trying the same thing and it ain't working, what sense does that make?
Well, as you know, you've come to know, your brethren has a whole lot of rabbit holes.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you to guess. No. I'm going to ask you to guess. But I'm telling you, I have 2 papers in front of me.
Yes.
They have been written by Professor David Hopkins.
Oh, wow.
The same man who wrote the Hopkins Report in 2007. And I just want to say this. Again, I'm not a school scientist. I'm not an anthropologist. I'm a storyteller and a nerd. Right? So the way my brain worked was when I was going through the stuff and I realized when the education reform first was stopped by the current minister.
Yes.
The Hopkins, that part came right back to me. If you do structural reform, you're not dealing with the problem.
Yeah.
So I kept that to myself, although we have a platform, right?
Yes.
I just said, we'll see how this plays out. but I knew what Hopkins had said.
Yes.
That, right? And the other thing is there's something called the NIE, or NEI now, Educators Institute, right? That is trying to deal with professional development of teachers.
Right.
But there's limited professional development days. And just because you have a professional development, you know what I'm getting at, right? So there's a lot. And I was struggling to find where Hopkins' report had been followed. I struggle to find evidence that having received this, and he was also assisted by Bermudians in the field, right? So this wasn't, anyway. So it makes sense, right? That I would then look up, hey, what's Hopkins up to these days?
Right.
That fella is still at it.
Okay.
And I mean, still at it. The comparison I would like to do before I get into this, yes, nerd, but I have, we'll see if I still am, but I think so, been working with tourism, right? I do a lot of, I do presentations and trainings for tourism.
Right.
One of the things we do is the history of hospitality, or tourism, design, governance in Bermuda.
Okay.
So it began with a trade association. In fact, I can read it to you precisely because it's right here. But we went from the Bermuda Tourist Association to the Trade Development Board. From the Trade Development Board to the Ministry of Tourism. And then from the Ministry of Tourism, we created a tourism board that wasn't above, 1 moment. Sorry. So the tourism board that reflected stakeholders, and we now have the tourism authority.
Okay.
The real damage in my mind that happened to tourism from a governance perspective was the OBA sold the country, or didn't sell the country, they had the power to do what they want. They won the election. That Bermuda needed a tourism authority. And this tourism authority was going to be run by professionals.
Yes.
And that's a dog whistle for not black people.
Yeah.
Right? So what happened, we created this authority, but the OBA and that acting chair, Dodwell, did the very thing that they claimed the authority was being created not to do.
Right.
Here we go. The Bermuda had a national tourism plan that was published publicly September 2012. Got me?
Got you.
The election was that December. When the OBA came in, that entire plan was ditched.
Why?
You don't see it, do you? Let me tell you. No, and that's just it, right? So this is how it plays out. Ready? Tourism is too important to be playing politics with. You know? You might have a good point there. It is. It's way too important to be political, because if a government changes, then all of the priorities that are set up for tourism might be changed, because that government has no need to follow what the former government was doing.
Right.
In fact, even if you have a different tourism minister from a other tourism minister, even within the same cabinet of government, they may have different priorities and therefore undermine what is a pillar of the economy. Therefore, we need to have a non-political entity like a tourism authority. And they politically ditched the National Tourism Plan. They did the very thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how, when I say a dog whistle, right? I know, okay, I've been inside, behind scenes, front line about trying to uproot racism in this country.
Yeah.
Okay? And trust me, the discrimination, the microaggressions, all of that stuff were there. But that's one where, how in the world did they end up, why didn't the authority carry the National Tourism Plan? It was done for the country. It wasn't done politically. They could have even kept the diagnostic report.
Right.
So anyway, I'm saying all that to say that body might be a good body to look at a National Tourism Plan now. The one that we have expires this year. It went from 2019 to 2026.
Okay.
And so I'm saying it's a throwback, but their data and the actual way they thought Bermuda should be marketed is still relevant now.
Yeah.
Right? We still, for example, one of the big things they said, you need a convention center. We still don't have one. And what I go there, you know what? Right. So I checked out David Hopkins. That's all. I checked out Professor Hopkins. I tried to see what he might have been up to. And I found a huge paper. And can I just say this also? I don't know if she's listening, okay? But what I have come to determine about our country is the conservative black Bermudian who is a bureaucrat seems to me to have views of this country and its people that are so heavily doused in the fuel of class ranking that any spark could cause an internal riot.